And now we're bringing out some other people from the It's Not Funny website. We have Glenda and Clyde. Welcome. Now, both of these people have got some special little stories. Glenda, it was just 3 weeks ago, you had deep brain stimulation.
Yes.
How would that go?
Well, I'm here. I never thought I'd make it here this evening. And I'm 3 weeks down the track from DBS, and I feel on top of the world.
That's fantastic. I have a doctor friend here, Dr. Ignachenko, who's and what's he do? He's the drug one, isn't he? The anaesthetist. And he comes in and tells me, I'm working on these deep brain stimulation operations. So I thought I'd get him to tell everybody what happens, but he's generally off his face. So would you like to explain what happens in the operation?
The awake bit or the sleeping bit?
The awake bit scares me, so let's go for that one.
Well, because they go into your brain, you have to be awake so that the neurologist can test the reflexes. And when they go a little bit too far in and you say, no, stop, they know that they have to pull back. And when they are happy with your neurological symptoms, then they deem the procedure, the electrodes in position. So that was the awake bit for me. And then took me out to recovery while they go have lunch. So that was a very interesting fact to find.
Where do you go for lunch, Nick? You go to the pub?
And then to sleep, to put the electrodes and the stimulator in, because the stimulator has to stimulate the electrodes to release, to push on the site in the brain that causes movement.
Yep.
So once I woke up and I knew that I could move, I knew that the surgery was going to be a success.
And what positive things have you noticed just in the last 3 weeks?
Well, as my husband would tell everybody, I can brush my teeth, which I couldn't do before.
How many years did you not brush your teeth for?
With an electric toothbrush.
You've got beautiful teeth.
Yeah.
Very nice teeth.
Thank you.
Yeah, and since the operation, have you had like an irresistible urge to paint?
No.
Just the house.
Play the piano?
No, but my family think that I've gone a little bit off the wall with a bit of balance issues.
Yeah.
And
physical balance? Or?
Yeah, but I think that those are symptoms that will get sorted out quite quickly with my stimulator. But you know what, the fact that I've been given this second chance and this opportunity to do this, I really feel that I have to take it with open arms and embrace it and move on from here. You know what, I may have Parkinson's disease, but PD doesn't have me and it won't get me at all.
Thank you. And Clyde, Clyde's done some amazing things since he was diagnosed. I won't spill the beans on what they are, but the story goes that John told me, you went out to the car, you put the key in the ignition, and you said you're not going anywhere until you work out a plan. Mm-hmm. What was that plan?
Yeah, I really had a two-step process. I try to keep things pretty simple and what we can make it a pretty complex world if we want to. So for myself, it was two things. One was, could you accept it? The only simple reason for that is I find secret to happiness is acceptance. So if I can't accept it, I can't move forward. So a key part for myself, don't put that key in the car until you can accept it, or agree when you could. So agree I could accept it. That doesn't mean dog it and give up. It means you're going to take further action. And my further action was very simple. What are we going to do about it? And it was just crystal clear for myself, cure. And that seems pretty simple, and it's a complex disease. So we've had to be able to back that off from there to be able to say, how do we slow, how do we stop, and then how do we cure? For guys like the Garvan, people that are on our side.
And how long were you in the car for? Because I might be still there. Bringing the coffee in the morning. As long as the radio's on, I'll be going, I'm still thinking about it, Jane, come back.
That depends how comfortable the car you had. Yeah,
I suppose.
no, for myself, it was very, very quick. Going into it, I knew what the outcome was possibly going to be, and going forward, further forward with there, it was really how we were going to present that to the kids, because kids are a big part of your life. And for myself, it was how are we going to drive this forward as a family. So that needs to be me up front. Can you accept, and what are you going to do? So seconds.
I don't have kids, but I have staff, and I just want to thank. I've got 11 staff here tonight. They'll be in black, coming around later armed with I was going to say guns, iPads to take your donations. But I decided to tell all my staff straight away. So we had about 40 staff and I told the story that I told today pretty much. But I said to them, if you think that I'm going to having Parkinson's is going to make me guilt you into working harder, you better fucking believe it.
Very honest.
Yeah. And there's 11 of them here today, so that's good. Now, guys, just get some feedback on what it was like to do the pictures that are on the website.
To work with John and John were unbelievable. I did the photos and they did YouTube videos of me. They were an absolute pleasure to work with, professional, and really went down very well from a perspective of knowing what it's like to have young onset Parkinson's, and presented to everybody who we needed to show that nobody is alone, and we're out there to send a strong message that we want people on board, and young onset is something which needs to be looked at and given priority, and we're out there to help everybody who's got this and tell them that they're not alone and move on.
And how old were you when you were diagnosed?
I was 39, 12 years ago.
Wow, cool. Clyde, how'd you go with the pictures in your camper van?
Yeah, for the camper van, like for myself, don't love the public domain, but when the guys come, and they were just so easy to be able to get on with. We've got 3 kids, the middle daughter, you ask her what she wants to be, she said, Dad, I just want to be famous. So this was another step on the journey.
Where is she? Where is she?
School holidays, she was up at Atlantic Centre, had the dad's 80th party yesterday, and had to jump on a plane this morning to come back to here. So
she's not here?
Unfortunately not here.
Because I could have made her famous.
She should have been.
Should have been. Yeah, working with John and John was interesting. We took my photo at the State Theatre, and I don't know if I was working with 2 different people, but I was on stage and John's shooting back into the audience and shooting without a flash. And he said to me, it's going really well, except it's all blurry. Can you stop shaking? So I got Parkinson's.
Yeah.
Bernie, how'd you go with them?
Well, you can see it very well. I mean, when they said they're going to make an action man, but I went, what? You got to be serious. But it was great fun, and I thoroughly enjoyed working with John and John. And they were very good at what they did.
Oh, they're very good, very, very good. John, what you've done with those pictures, it's just, where has he got this? How'd you do that?
It's lurking.
And John, would you like to critique the photos?
Oh no, I'm not there to critique the photos. That's stepping over my mark.
You don't want to say mine were the best or anything like
No.
No, it's okay. Just tell them mine was the best. There's more of me.
Well, there's more of Bernie wings in terms of quantity, and also in terms of sort of action qualities. I think.
And we've got the bubble lady here as well.
Go, Glenda.
Well, there is some competition.
Glenda has the bubbles out.
You have to run. We'll just run around the cowhide.
Another one.
So, what advice would you give to someone newly diagnosed with Parkinson's? We can start with you, John, and we'll work our way down to Bernie.
Just get involved in doing something. Not only the fact of doing something, being active, doing something positive helps you in many ways, but you actually learn a lot. I've learned a hell of a lot. This whole adventure has been as good as, not as good as my neurologist, of course, but it's up there. So I recommend that just get in on anything that you can find and just do it, you know.
Anthony?
Look, I suppose from a research perspective, which is what we're trying to do here at the Garvan, is consider volunteering for, as you did, to help contribute to us finding out what's wrong.
I was going to get a T-shirt made for that one saying lab rat.
Yeah. I can get you one.
Yeah.
I'll give some blood for you.
Yeah. Forget the tissue, just rat.
Fair trade. Glenda?
This may sound strange, but I think when I read Michael J. Fox's first book and he said his life is better since he's been diagnosed with Parkinson's, I can actually say that I agree. And I would tell somebody who's newly diagnosed to live life to the full, don't sweat the small stuff, and just go and enjoy and do what you want to do today, because nobody knows what's around the corner.
One day at a time. Clyde?
Yeah, for myself, it's pretty simple. Never give up and make it your first day of a new tomorrow.
As my dad, country man, said to me, as when I was a kid, drummed into me, a quitter never wins and a winner never quits.
Got it.
Yeah. Paul?
Don't treat yourself. Very tempting to do when you're older. Number two, try and keep active both physically and mentally. Keep active, and life will change, but it's still pretty good.
John?
Well, one of the things that stayed with me that John Peplow told me from his conversations with Anthony was that Anthony said, if you were going to have an incurable degenerative neurological disease, Parkinson's is by far the most interesting one to have.
Yay! Go, party, yay!
And I just think that idea that you can actually have an interesting disease and you can make it like the object of your own study even while you're suffering from it is actually rather a stimulating thing. It's like something to strive for and to work with.
One of the worst things about having a progressive degenerative disease is if you've got a progressive degenerative disease, it's really hard to say progressive degenerative disease. It took me ages to find. Bernie?
Well, when I was diagnosed, my mind said to my wife, look on the bright side, or the positive side, stick him in the bath with the washing.
Anybody who wants to do something for someone? Yes.
I might have Parkinson's, but it hasn't got me.
That's still
Yay, Glenda.
Hold on. Hold on. I can project. I can enunciate.
My brother also suggested he put the washing on the floor and throw me on it as well. I would just say that Parkinson's is life-changing. It's not life-threatening. And the journey that you go on because of it could be a journey that is absolutely amazing and takes you to places that you didn't even think you were going to go. And it's not the end of the world. You just have to suck it up and move on.
You know, as a very well-known expression, shit happens. Just roll with it.
Now,
Gary, does anybody else want to ask any questions while we're here? Or say something?
Sorry, Gary, you can also save on hair
I'm serving on here because I'm going bald.
Yeah, Glenda is fabulous.
I'll tell you something. I've got a hairdressing salon, and the first thing we tell apprentices when they're learning how to cut hair, it's the first rule of hairdressing, and I'll say it to you now so you know, it will grow back. And when it grows back, you can come in and see Jane, and she'll give you a nice haircut. We're not going to do a consultation now. Any questions from anyone in the audience? Anybody would like to add anything? Anyone would tell me what I said was bullshit? No? Well, that's good.
It was fun.
Oh, someone wants to tell me it's bullshit.
I think it's been a fantastic evening. I don't think ever in Sydney I've seen so many people so captivated and listening to all of you speaking tonight. I've had an experience with mental illness with my son and a similar journey in a way of acceptance and being positive. But I suppose my question and my comment is I do have a girlfriend that has Parkinson's and she's never told her children. And I just can't put, I just admire, I mean, everyone has their own choices and the decisions that they make, but 10 years not telling your children that you've got Parkinson's, it really is part of who you are. And I'd be interested to hear your views on that. Maybe it's a very personal thing, but...
personal thing, but Glenda's lived that exact situation.
Thanks.
So Glenda?
Well, I was running a business from home, and for 10 years I kept my diagnosis a secret, and I didn't want my kids to know because I didn't want to put them in a situation where they had to lie or keep it from other people. And when the time was right and they noticed, then I knew it was time to tell everybody. But I think it's very personal, and you do what works for you.
Clyde?
Yeah, very much you do what works for yourself. I was the opposite way around. I very much just put it out there. Yeah. So with the kids, sit down on the lounge at night for what we call our family chat, and announced it to the guys. And Joshy, who was about 10 at the time, said, "You right, Dad?" I said, "Mate, all okay." Zoe, who was 8 at the time, you could just see she thinks a lot, and Phoebe, who was only 3 at the time, just thought, well, what's coming next? And Zoe come back and saw us 2 weeks later, and she thought about it a lot, and she said, "Dad, are you going to die and not be with us?" And you could just see that was 2 weeks of pain for the kids to go through to get to that stage. And I said, "Mate, you got me for a lot longer to annoy the hell out of you." So she was all happy and unhappy at that point in time, and we moved on.
I got a friend in WA, and when he found out, he cried. And then we were out late one night in Melbourne for a function, and he said to me, he goes, "You're going to be dead in 4 years." He was like drunk. And I said, "Simon, you could walk out of this restaurant right now and get run over by a car that I am driving."
And back over the top of.
Any other questions? No? Yes?
I think sometimes you come out to the people that you work with because of circumstance. I work in health and have had Parkinson's for 12 years. When I was diagnosed, I retrained, got a master's, got a new profession within health, and have continued to work. I work in mental health now, and I came out in my mental health capacity, and everyone was incredibly positive. I'm currently working in midwifery, and one of my colleagues last week said, two people have come to me today and think that you're drunk, and I went, fuck off.
You could be both.
And if you have an issue with my working ability, doing it the way you're doing it is really unprofessional. tomorrow I'm running a World Awareness Parkinson's lunch, and I've got the CEO and all the big wigs coming to it to get it out there even broader in the community, because I just think I don't need people thinking I'm pissed as well.
No.
And that is really insulting.
Yeah. I had it, was at a function at Star Casino, and they said, I'm going to have to cut you off. And I said, well, you probably don't know this, but I've got Parkinson's, so if you want me to go down and blow into a breathalyzer, I will, or if you want to go and get a manager, I'd love to talk to the manager. And off the girl went, and the girl had been serving this grain all night, and I was like, I wouldn't drive a car, but I wasn't smashed. And just to do the right thing, I went on to water, and then the manager walked in with a tray and a schooner. And said, there's your drink, sir, thank you very much. And he said, I'll move the girl to another room. And I said, well, thanks for the beer, but you can bring the girl back. But she's been really good, and when she came back in, I gave her a hug. Just because I wanted her to know I was all right, and I thank her for taking the time to do it. And then I got smashed.
I have been asked to leave a few bars in my time.
Was that before or after Parkinson's, Ben?
Well, the before Parkinson's were legitimate. Anyway, but I have a little car I have. Get to some Parkinson's. And we're in Queensland on a golf tour, and the barmaid was so embarrassed she offered us free drinks for the evening. So then
She was just after you, mate.
yeah, mate, well, I'm dead sexy, you know.
Well, because you're so damn sexy, we're going to get you to play a song for us. For those of you who don't know, that we've got a couple of people on the panel who are described by doctors as cyborgs, I believe the term is, because they've had the deep brain operation. So Bernie's going to play us out with a song called Cyborg Blues. But John, I'll get you to stay for a second because we've got to set that up. But to John and Paul and to Clyde and Brenda and Anthony, thank you so much for today. Thank you. Put your hands together for them.